Okay, so in a retail world that's filled with, let's be honest, a ton of uncertainty, tariffs, and nervous consumers, one company just dropped an absolute bombshell of a quarter. We're talking about Burlington, the off-price retailer. And they didn't just beat expectations, they totally blew them away. But this isn't just a story about one good quarter. Hidden inside their numbers is a secret playbook, and it might just be the perfect strategy for this exact moment in the economy.
So let's set the scene here. While you've got so many other retailers posting pretty weak results and blaming the economy, Burlington, a huge player in the off-price game, just reported numbers that are, well, they're staggering. Their growth didn't just meet what people were hoping for, it completely defied it.
So where does it start? With a 5% jump in comparable store sales. Now, that's a really critical number for any retailer. It measures growth in their existing stores, and 5% is incredibly strong. But get this, that growth came right on top of another 5% increase just last year. That's momentum. And it gets even better. The growth wasn't just about selling more stuff. Their adjusted earnings per share, basically their profitability, exploded by 39%. And that tells you something really important. They're not just moving inventory. They are making a whole lot more profit on every single thing they sell. So this brings us to the big question, right? With so many other companies struggling against all these headwinds, how on earth did Burlington manage to thrive? Well, the answer is in a strategy that was literally years in the making. All right, let's dig into the quality of this performance. Because, the headline numbers are one thing, but the real story, the interesting part, is what was happening behind the scenes to make them happen.
The company's own CEO, Michael O'Sullivan, he called it a very high-quality beat. He's basically making it super clear this wasn't some accounting trick or a one-time thing. This came from the fundamentals of the business, selling things for more profit and running the whole operation more efficiently.
But here's what makes this whole performance truly remarkable. It's what they were up against. You see, this success story has a really powerful villain, a whole list of challenges that were hammering the entire retail industry.
I mean, the sheer number of hurdles they had to clear was just incredible. You had these huge global issues, like totally unpredictable tariffs that were just snarling supply chains. And then, at home, you had problems like weird, unseasonable weather, which can be a total disaster for clothing sales. And all of this was happening under this big, dark cloud of economic uncertainty.
The CEO used this fantastic metaphor of an air pocket to describe what the tariffs did. Think about that. It wasn't just a little turbulence, it was a sudden, jarring drop in the flow of goods coming from places like China. It affected everything from cookware to toys, and a lot of other retailers were just caught completely flat-footed.
So, if the whole industry basically hit this massive air pocket, how in the world did Burlington manage to find lift? What was their secret sauce? Okay, this is where this story gets really, really good.
It turns out this wasn't just dumb luck. Nope, it was the result of a very deliberate, multi-year strategy that they call Burlington 2.0. You can kind of think of it as a complete operating system upgrade for the entire company.
So this new operating system, it really rests on 3 core pillars, and each one is designed to make the company smarter and faster. It starts with completely revolutionizing how they buy their merchandise. Then it moves on to a total overhaul of the in-store experience, and it's all powered by a much smarter new store strategy. Let's break each of those down.
Okay, this is their first superpower, agility. Merchandising 2.0 basically gave their buyers the data and the tools they needed to see that tariff air pocket coming. So they were able to rapidly shift their buying plans, moving away from stuff that was going to get hit hard by tariffs and pivoting into other areas where the supply was more reliable. Super smart.
Next up is the physical transformation. For years, Burlington had a reputation for stores that were, let's just say, a bit of a treasure hunt. And I don't always mean that in a good way. Stores 2.0 is this massive project to change that whole perception, right from the ground up.
And I just love this quote from the CEO. He's not trying to hide from their past reputation as a Coke factory, which is a nod to their old name, Burlington Coat Factory. By totally redesigning layouts, improving signs, and just setting higher standards, they've made the stores way easier and more fun to shop in. And the result? Their customer service scores are now at all-time highs. And the third pillar is all about growth. The new, smaller format stores they've been opening, they're knocking it out of the park. I mean, they're doing so well that as they get older and become part of that comparable sales number, they create what the company calls a comp tailwind, which helps lift the performance of the whole chain. Okay, so everything sounds amazing. The strategy is clearly working, which makes their guidance for the future, well, a little confusing.
because despite this blowout quarter, their forecast for the rest of the year is actually very, very cautious. So what's up with that? Why?
And right here, this is it. This is the heart of the off-price playbook. It's a strategy you can see in these two numbers, moving in completely opposite directions. On one side, they keep the inventory in their stores super lean and fresh. It's actually down 8% from last year. But on the other side, their reserve inventory, all the great deals they have packed away in warehouses, is up a massive 43%.
This strategy, it really gives them the best of both worlds. The lean, fresh stores help drive faster sales and mean fewer markdowns. But behind the scenes, they have this huge war chest of inventory, just ready to go the second a trend takes off. Like the CEO says, they are well positioned to chase. That's their whole model in a nutshell. Plan conservatively, but always be ready to pounce.
And this caution isn't just for show. It's rooted in real-world risks. Their huge outerwear business is super sensitive to the weather. The tariffs are still a complete wild card, and the overall economy could still take a turn. So their conservative plan isn't a sign of weakness. It's a strategic choice to stay nimble, no matter what happens next.
So let's bring all this together. What does this 1/4 times really tell us about Burlington's future? And what's the big picture takeaway from all this? The main thing to remember is that this blowout quarter was not a fluke. It was the direct result of that Burlington 2.0 strategy firing on all cylinders. Over the last few years, they have fundamentally rebuilt the company to be faster, smarter, and way more resilient, able to navigate those air pockets that send other retailers into a total tailspin.
And that leaves us with one final, really fascinating question. In a world that seems more uncertain than ever, maybe the ability to react, to chase the trend, is the ultimate competitive advantage. By mastering this art of the chase, Burlington might just have built a playbook for not just surviving, but actually thriving, no matter what the future of retail holds.